Graham Harrison, the 53-year-old founder of a luxury hotel chain, sat alone at a windowside table in the cozy seaside restaurant The Lantern in Seattle. He came here every year on this exact day to mark the anniversary of the company he had once founded together with his wife, Caitlin. On his hand gleamed an antique white gold ring with a sapphire surrounded by tiny diamonds, a family heirloom passed down for over a century. When the waitress approached, a young woman named Haley, around 20, with chestnut hair and thoughtful eyes, Graham didn't even look up. But as she poured wine into his glass, she suddenly froze. Looking at the ring, she said, almost in a whisper. "Excuse me, sir, but my mother has a ring exactly like that." Graham flinched. There were only 3 such rings in existence. His great-grandfather had commissioned them in England at the end of the 19th century. One was his own. The second had disappeared with his brother Patrick during an expedition to Iceland. The third, he believed, had been buried with Caitlin, who had died in a car accident 20 years ago. He slowly turned to Haley, his voice trembling. "What's your mother's name?" Without hesitation, the girl answered. "Catherine Moore." Graham turned pale. Caitlin's maiden name was Moore. He suddenly found it hard to breathe. "How old is your mother?" he asked. 48, she replied. Caitlin would have been exactly that age, if she were alive. He asked Haley to show him a photo. She pulled out her phone and brought up a recent picture. Graham froze. It was her. Older, with different eyes, a changed expression, but it was undoubtedly Caitlin. He asked where she lived. "Portland," Haley said, still unaware of what was happening. An hour later, they were driving down the highway in his black SUV, passing quiet suburbs, until the lights of Portland appeared outside the window. It was past midnight when they pulled up to a house. The door opened almost immediately. A woman in a dark sweater, gray at the temples, stood on the threshold. She saw Graham and dropped her keys. He whispered her name. "Caitlin." And in that moment, time stood still. The truth came out quickly. 20 years ago, when Graham had become entangled with a shady investor named Richard Coleman, Caitlin realized that her pregnancy made them vulnerable. After a threatening phone call, she faked her death to protect herself and their unborn child. She ran, changed her name, and started a new life far from danger. When Coleman later died under mysterious circumstances, she could have returned. But she didn't know how. Fear, shame, and pain kept her away. They talked all night. Graham didn't accuse. He just looked at her, and listened. Everything he thought he had lost was alive. 3 years later, at a hotel on the Pacific Coast in Oakland, Graham and Caitlin were married again. Haley walked beside them in a white dress as a violin played softly in the breeze. And the ring, once the symbol of their separation, had become a symbol of a new beginning. What a beautiful story. Dear friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, there's much more to come.